I see what on screen.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our webinar series of financial literacy workshops that are sponsored by PNC Bank. We're very happy to have them as a partner to bring you this information. For those of you who do not know who Tailored for Success is and what we do, we're a nonprofit organization that is entirely virtual right now. We used to be based in Malden, but we're entirely virtual, and we are dedicated to helping job seekers of all genders, ages, and ethnicities. And this workshop is part of our outreach to the community to help people during these challenging times. Our presenter today is Kelly McCarthy, and she is from PNC Bank. And I will be running the slides for her, but I will turn it over to Kelly now. Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Great, thank you so much for having us. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the presentation today. My name is Kelly McCarthy. I'm the Solutions Center Manager here in Linfield of PNC. We're located inside the Linfield Marketplace. And I'm also here with my peer, Esmeralda Asufi.
Hi, everyone. We're happy to be here.
So today's topic that we're going to discuss is called You Can Bank on It. So it's all about learning about what banking is and understanding financial products, services, providers, and anything you need to know or learn about banking, everyday banking, terms in banking. And so we're here to help you with that. So in section 1, right, so some things to think about. When everybody, right, we all think about how are we going to pay our items, right? Like how are we going to pay for the things that we need to? How are we going to be able to utilize in the best way to pay our bills, right? We need to consider what our needs are around banking, and we need to shop around for the best financial products and the best financial services for us. Right? So it's not always about being the best. It's always about being the best for us. So that's the biggest thing I want you to keep in mind as we go through this today. And then the next slide. So as we're shopping around, right, we have financial institutions, and there's different kinds of financial institutions. We have banks, we have credit unions, right? They both accept deposits of money. They both lend money. They may offer other products and services such as credit cards, car loans, personal loans, mortgages, and others. But there is a difference between a bank and a credit union, right? And so the biggest thing about banks and a credit union that I just want to put out there is a bank is a for-profit in a business, and a credit union is a non-for-profit. And what that means is they use their members are all part of the bank, owners of that bank, credit union rather. So we'll continue on. And here we go. I spoke a little too soon, right? So differences between banks and credit unions. So banks, right? Banks are called, we have bank customers, right? So you would be considered a customer. If you were at a credit union, you would be considered a member, right? So membership has criteria. So I can just tell you from my own personal experience, my first bank was actually not a bank, it was a credit union. And the reason being is my dad worked for Lucent Technologies. And so you had to be a member or an employee or a family member of that company in order to be able to have a credit union account. So a lot of times, like there's a firefighter credit union, there's a teacher's credit union, there's always a criteria, not always, most of the time there is a membership criteria, and it's usually around being an employee or a family or friend of that. Banks, there's no membership criteria usually, right? So sometimes there could be balance requirements, sometimes there could be like different things, but in terms of, and especially PNC, there's no membership criteria. There's not even balance minimums criteria here, which is really cool, which actually makes us very different from most people. Banks are owned by shareholders, right? So versus credit unions are owned. They're a nonprofit organization owned by its members, right? So you would, if you were part of the credit union, then it would be owned by you. versus our shareholders, those are like, or they own shares of our stock, right? So they're owned by our shareholders. And we'll go to the next screen. So now let's talk a little bit about how to protect your money, right? And this was a big thing, like back in 2008, people were very nervous that banks were going to shut down. And so ways to protect, we have the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and it protects you up to $250,000 per person, so per depositor, right? Per FDIC insured bank, per ownership category. So there's ways to definitely protect your money, and we're definitely here to help you and make sure that we can help you with that. But you are always insured up to $250,000 per depositor, per FDIC insured bank, so per bank, right? As long as it's FDIC insured. And then there's ownership categories with that. So there's a lot of in that, and if you ever have any questions, we can set up an appointment and go over that in more detail with you. In terms of the credit union, they have NCUA, so National Credit Union Administration. That protects funds depositors place in federally insured credit unions. Insurance rules are similar to those of the FDIC. Now, if you're going to ask me questions on this, I don't have all the questions because we do work for a bank versus a credit union, but there are definitely ways that we can look at it and compare. Again, I'm happy to help you with whatever you need. Okay, love to talk about this one. Access services, right? So how do you access your money? That's very important, right? So we know we put our money in the bank, but how do we get it out? How do we find out how much money we have in the bank, right? Versus having, a checkbook register. So there's ways that you can access. It's through coming in and seeing us, which we love it. We love when people come and visit us. You can come here, show us your ID, and we're happy to tell you whatever you have in your account and help you to withdraw your money. You can go to an ATM. So one thing we have here at PNC is we have a video banker with extended hours. So you can literally, so a video banker, what that means is we have a teller we have a teller that's part of our ATM machine, and you can do everything that you would do inside a bank, and you can do it right at the ATM machine, which is really cool. We also have customer service. We have what you could use our website and our online banking and mobile banking. And then if there's any sort of accommodations, we'd work with you. But realistically, it's your money, so it's on your terms and your time. And we're all about making sure that it's all about you. Some of the products and services available, right? So we have deposit accounts. So what is a deposit account, you ask, right? So that would be a checking and a savings account. That's anything you can put money into. Credit products, right? So that's anything that would be like a loan. So that would be a credit card, that would be a car loan, that would be a home equity or a mortgage. And we can help you with all of those products as well, or how to get them, right? Even if it's something you're looking forward to in the next year, 2 years, we can definitely support you with that. And then other products and services, that would be access, right? So other products would, or I like how to protect you from identity theft, right? Other products would be your debit card, right? Your access card, your online mobile banking. One thing we have is really cool budgeting tools here. That's one of our products that we have is budgeting tools. Okay. And we just covered all this. I'm getting ahead of myself, Liz.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right. And again, the credit products, which we went over. And other products and services, right? So cash checking, the ATMs, and anything I missed here, money orders, we do official checks here. And we actually do them. We don't do them at our video banker, like I told you. We would do that here inside the office. Setting up transfers, wire transfers, we do all of that. And actually we have a service where you can do wire transfers right from your online banking, which is pretty cool. Other financial service providers, right? So if you did not want to use a bank, right? A bank or a credit union, and you think, well, what else can I do to access money? Well, you can go to a convenience store for a fee. And they have ATMs usually inside their stores. You could use a post office. They usually have postal money orders for a fee, right? Stores sell prepaid cards. You could also use that, but there's for a fee. Check cashing stores and outlets. So sometimes people like to go to their local cash checking store for a fee, right? So notice the trend I'm saying here. It's usually for a fee. Payday lenders, pawn shops, and vehicle title lenders. Now, all these things you can get access to money, but all of these things, there's a fee involved. So like we talked about earlier, this is all about what is best for you, right? And we got to start to think about that. What financial products and services do you need, right? So financial products and services, these are some things that are very important to people. So goals would be to save money. Some people like to spend money, like myself. Managing money, right? So how do you both save and spend and manage it? And then borrowing money. So again, this all starts with your needs. What is important to you? And then let's try it, right? Here's something, and this is all part of the participant guide. What do you need to manage your money? So here's the scenario, and this is something you can play with. And if you'd like, would love to set an appointment up and go over this individually. So scenario, Susanna considers what she needs to manage her money. So she has a full-time job and receives a paycheck every 2 weeks. She has had trouble in the past paying her bills on time, and she has credit card debt she wants to pay off, but she also wants to build her emergency savings. Susanna needs a car within the next year and wants to be able to get a good rate on her car loan. What are Susanna's financial management needs? So actually, let's ask Essie. Essie is Susanna. So Susanna, what do you think you need in order to manage your money?
I think that it will be beneficial for me to have a budgeting tool.
A budgeting tool, yes, right? Because we've got all these pieces.
Yeah, that will help me how to manage my money better.
Awesome. Okay, so Essie says a budgeting tool, right, to help with making sure, so like a calendar to make sure that we put in what days the bills are due, right? Credit card debt, making sure that we can start to see like how much money is going out, how much money is going in, what are we spending our money on, right? And where could we start to pay that down? And where could we slowly start to build up our savings, right? Especially since your goal is to buy a car within the next year and you want to get a good rate. So very cool. Apply it, right? We're going to apply it now. So we're going to apply my financial management needs. So check off what you need. So I need to save money for emergencies or my goals. Check. Okay, as he says, check. To pay my bills in a safe and secure way. Check. Okay. To send money to family and friends electronically. No. Okay. To get access to cash quickly.
Check.
To borrow money.
Check.
To build or improve my credit.
Check.
To build a relationship with my financial institution.
Definitely check.
And is there any other financial management needs you have?
Once I get my credits,
Yeah.
that I'm gonna think about buying a house.
Ooh, I love that. All things we can do to support you in here. And then we can talk about applying it. So the banking checklist. So I'm not going to go through this because we can go through this one-on-one with you. So 6 sections and apply it. So we just talked about the things that are important, right? Needs and access, checking accounts, right? Savings accounts, debit and ATM cards, overdraft and overdraft fees, and other available services. And again, section 1, remember the key takeaway. Love that one, right? Consider your needs. This whole presentation is about you and your needs and what's important to you when you think about a financial product, when you think about a financial service, when you think about a financial institution. And it's making sure that we put your needs number 1, and that's truly what we're here for. Next section is opening an account. Okay, this is a cool takeaway, right? It's just understanding the general process, right? For opening or opening a savings or checking account, right? including your options if you're initially unable to open the account. And so why having it, right? So there are some reasons why we want to have one. So there's security, there's safety from having one. You can earn interest. It's convenient. Relationship building, I know that came up a couple times, but why is that important, right? It's important because when you build a relationship, it gives people an opportunity to help you more, right? It gives you an opportunity to find different solutions to be able to help you to meet your goals. And then important consumer protections. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to need when you open up an account, right? So there's an application process, and you can do it online. We actually do one where we can send you a link. We could do it virtually for you. We could do an account virtually, which is really awesome. And what you're going to need is you're going to need your personal information, including your social, your date of birth, your address, your name. There's more information as well. And then in terms of ID, we need 2 forms of ID. So like a driver's license, a passport, and then a second form of ID would be like a credit card or a bank card. There's others as well if there's other questions. And we would totally invite you in to get this done, and we would hold your hand through the entire process. So when you're ready, we're happy to help you with this and show you how to make your first deposit. You would receive disclosures, you would sign documents, and we would activate your online banking for you. We would activate your debit card. So when you leave, you're like ready to go. It's beautiful. So yeah, banking history report. So not everyone is not approved for an account. Most people are. So usually this is, and I'm going to tell you the trends. So usually when you owe a bank, when you owe money to another bank, so unpaid negative balances on accounts, you usually need to pay them off first before coming to opening a new account. If you had fraud on suspected fraud related to accounts, or if you have certain accounts that are closed by financial institutions, we may not open an account for you. And I say may not because it won't hurt you to check, right? Because it's not the case 100%. And everybody has the right to one free banking history report from each nationwide consumer reporting company. So this is your credit report, guys. Everybody's entitled to a free credit report every year, which is great. And this is like where you would get it, right? So you would just get your check systems report. And then there's the early warnings report. That's usually when we find out if, you know, that's if you got declined for not getting a new account, you would go through the early warning services and you would find out how, and you would get the form and we can help you to fix that. And you have the opportunity to dispute it as well, right? So if you have anything on your banking history that's not accurate, you can dispute it. So everything was within your control, and we're here to help you with that. So some possible options. So for this challenge, so not enough money or account fees are too high, consider low cost account options, which there's literally, you don't need to keep a balance here. We have completely free accounts, completely free. There's like no hidden agenda. Negative information on your banking history report. There's a second chance checking account, right? So there's some ways that you can still do that. Negative information in credit reports and low credit scores. So we could help you with rebuilding your credit score. There's also, in terms of low credit score, we have secured credit cards here to help you to build your credit card. No social security number, no problem. We can help you with that. Cannot open a particular account, right? So we would discuss that in person, whatever account you cannot open, and we can talk about ways to help you. And remember the key takeaway, right? So know the general process. So it's all about knowing the general process for opening a savings or checking account, including options if you're initially unable to open it. And now section 3, let's manage the account. How do we manage it? I love these little key takeaways. Learn the rules of your account. Keep track of how to use it. This can help you keep costs down and develop a positive banking relationship. And I love everything about positivity. So positive banking relationship. So using a savings account, you want to build it by depositing money and keeping it there to earn interest. It's designed to save money for the future. It offers higher interest rates than checking accounts, and it's not designated for a high number of transactions. So it's there for you to help let it grow for your goals. And then managing your savings account. So a couple things to keep in mind when you have a savings account. You would have it right on your online banking. You'd be able to see it, watch it grow. If you're looking to do withdrawals, don't not do more than 6 a month. That's where fees start to come into play. And so you just don't, and that's a federal regulation. So we want to make sure we protect you and we give you that information up front. But usually our savings account rate, it's much higher. It's very high. And so it's here to help you to get to your goals. Again, you want to just make sure you keep track, review your account statements, and we have alerts as well to help you. Next page. Now a checking account, right? So this is for a checking account, the purpose is for frequent use. This is where you would do multiple transactions. You would do a lot of deposits. You would pay your bills. You would make debit card withdrawals. You would access your ATM cards, ATM services. You maybe even write checks, right? So there's a lot of things you can do out of your checking account. It's intended to be using it frequently and often. Overdraft. So what an overdraft? So people get like cringe when you hear overdraft. So it's almost like the best way to think about it. You get that fee. It's like a loan, almost like an interest, like an very high interest rate as a loan to a bank. So if you don't have enough money in your account, we usually pay your items for a high cost of what? What is the fee? $36. So there's ways to also protect you. So we have things, it's called opting in or opting out. So if you do not have your account, money in your account, we can decline that transaction if you use for ATM and debit card transactions. But some people prefer to keep it opted in. You want to use those certain transactions, you're okay to pay the fee. Either way, it's completely up to you, but you have the option. We can either decline it and you could use another form of payment, or we could let you use it and we'll charge you and utilize it as like a little loan. And then financial institutions decide if they will cover checks or other payments that would cause an overdraft fee. So when it comes to checks, the opt-in feature is not part of it because checks are very different. It's just based around your ATM and debit card transactions. But all in all, it's about transparency, right? It's all about your options, what's best for you, and you making sure you know what the best option is. So let's just talk about this overdraft, right? This overdraft example. So Essie has $50 in her account and she decides that she wants to opt in, right? So on March 1st, she has $15. She bought a birthday cake for me. Then she had to buy gas for $25. And then she totally forgot, but her phone bill was on auto pay. So that came up for $45. So that resulted in 1 or 2 overdraft fees of $35. So depending on the order of the transactions, but since she was opted in, she ended up getting a overdraft fee. Direct deposit, right? Direct deposit is when money is automatically deposited electronically into your account, and it's safe and it's secure, and it's usually in the night before. You don't need to make the deposit in person, so it frees up A, time, and B, energy of remembering you having to do that. And many employers offer direct deposit for their employees' paychecks. What's an automatic bill pay or an automatic debit? So when you have bills, so like your mortgage or your car bill, right? Instead of going and making those one-time payments, right? Like going into your online banking or writing the check out, you can actually set up automatic payments right through the financial institution, or you could do it through your automatic, through your online banking, and you don't even have to think about it. It's already paid every single month. You already know it's coming out, so you're always making your payments on time. And a little fun fact is making on-time payments is the highest driver on your credit score. So if credit score is important to you, this is a very important function for you to make sure that you're keeping your credit score high, is making on-time payments. And then learning how to write a check. So this is really the most important part. So writing a check, right? So 1 is your information. 2 is the date. 3 is the check number. 4, who are you writing the check to? 5 is the amount in numbers. 6 is the amount written out. Now, number 6 is one of the most important lines. Some people they forget to do that, and we can't take the check. Number 6 written out is the legal line. That's really important to know. 7 is the bank, right? 8 is, what is it for? So this one, it's for groceries. 9, another important one, 9 is the signature, right? 10 is the routing number, 11 is the account number, and 12 is back to the top here where it's the number 3, 12, it's the check number. So that's just some information on the check. And we just went over it. So managing my checking account, right? So again, understanding how your bank works, that's number 1, that's important, right? What are the rules of engagement? How are you keeping track of your deposits and withdrawals, right? Like Essie said earlier, she loves the budgeting tool, right? That helps her to keep peace of mind in front of mind. Review your account statements. Again, budgeting tool, review your accounts. Keep track of holds on your debit card, and then set up email and text alerts. Cool. Next one. And we just did that one too. I keep getting ahead of myself, Liz. And then using an account register, right? So an account register, not everybody may even know what this is, but we have online banking is the best way to do that, is just being able to see where you're spending your money and just making sure you have line of sight of it. A register, we have them, they're books where you could actually write line by, here it is. You could actually write line by line of what a register is. So you spent money, the withdrawal at the local market. So I'm sorry, let me start up. You have $300, right? Then where it shows you all the withdrawals on the left-hand side here. And then, and including on 4/28/19, the ATM fees. So don't forget those as well. That's where some people will forget that, right? Because we took it out there. So you want to be very diligent of that. On the right-hand side is the deposits. And so it's adding it all up to make sure that you can keep track of how much money you have in your account at all times.
And Kelly, I think people have issues with, you know, they use their register and it doesn't seem to match what the bank has. They can go in and talk to someone.
100%, we're happy to help. And then this just talks here about ATM cards, right? So we have bank cards here, debit cards. A debit card, the difference between ATM and debit, a debit card has a Visa or MasterCard symbol to it. So you could use that as like a credit card, but it comes directly out of your checking account. P2P, love these. This is a game changer. So we actually have Zelle and we have, is it Pop Money? Is it Pop? Money Pop, I just saw that. So what that means here is you can, so if I owe Essie money, so Essie and I go to lunch and we didn't want to we just use one card, just to make it like be nicer with the waitress instead of giving her 2 cards. So Essie, I paid, so she owed me money. So she went right into her Zelle account after and transferred me back how much she owes me. So it's just an easy way to just pay people back without even thinking about it, not having to go to the ATM, not having to like write out a check. It's just instant and it's safe, especially Zelle because it's linked to banking products. Another one is if you are paying your babysitter or getting your hair done. Some hairdressers allow for that. Some different businesses do that as well. So there's different P2P systems, and it's definitely an area that is getting a lot of exposure and a lot more people are starting to accept it. And then mobile wallet app. So this is pretty cool. So you can keep your card right in your wallet, and so you can just pay. So you take your mobile device and you're like, you just scan it. So it makes it very easy for you to make payments. Almost too easy.
Yeah, a little too easy.
A little too easy. So again, we learn the rules of the account, how to keep track of it, how to use it, how to keep your costs down. And again, it's all about developing a positive relationship, and how you develop a positive relationship is having a bank that works for you. Prepaid cards. Prepaid cards are usually like cards that you load in advance. They're usually not linked to a checking or savings account. And before you use one, you just use you want to review its features and fees. Not linked to an account, you need to load the money in advance. And again, you want to register your cards to make sure you get the features. So this is some payroll companies do that. EBT cards is part of it. Colleges use them, prepaid cards for specific stores or public transportation. And it just kind of like goes over this, like, you know, features of that. We can kind of skip this. So this is a good one. So the question right here is, you know, do we use a prepaid card or a bank account? So Lucia over here, Essie Lucia, so Essie has been using a cash for everything, but she wants to build a relationship with a bank. She is unsure about where to start. She wants to be able to make purchases easily and pay her bills. She does not yet have a driver's license. She does not have a credit history. One of her friends told her about reloadable prepaid cards. She's not sure if she should get one. Her employer talked to her about establishing a relationship with a financial institution. She can open an account and she could use a debit card to buy things and pay bills. She's confused about what she should do.
I would prefer to have an appointment with a banker and have a professional advice.
Yep. And understand what your options are. I love that one. Yep. And that's the thing, you get to decide. And it's all, you know, people do get nervous about setting up an appointment, but you're the boss, right? You're hiring bankers to work for you, if you think about it, right? So you want to have a conversation and learn what your options are. Because again, this whole presentation is about you. Okay. Lost or stolen. So you want to just make sure and see what kind of protections are part of the prepaid cards, right? And usually, generally, that you must register the card to get protections, but that's pretty much it. You always want to understand what your limits are, know your fees, report loss or theft immediately, and just stay safe. And again, the key takeaway, prepaid cards allow you to spend and access money, load onto them. They're usually linked to checking, not linked to checking or savings account. Before you use one, review its features and fees. And then take action. The last thing is, right? So again, we learned a lot today, right? So what are the next steps? What will I do? How will I do it? How will I share my plans with anybody? And if so, who? So my advice, guys, is Essie and I are here for you. I've been in the banking industry for 20 years. And Essie's here and she has been able to help a lot of people with their financial goals. We're here to offer you an honest conversation and let you make the decision of what's best for you.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Kelly. And I think a lot of people are afraid to go in and talk to a bank. Maybe they just have had a bad experience, or they don't think they make enough money to have a relationship with a banker, you know, but they really can help you in a lot of different situations. So this is really great information.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you all for joining us today. Our next workshop with financial literacy is Pay Yourself First, which is on October 27th, and it's all about saving. And there are ways to save even when you're stretched financially to make ends meet. There are some ways to save. So I hope that you join us. So I want to thank Kelly again for being here and her colleague Esmeralda, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.